New Year is a time for new beginnings, even if things don't always turn out as expected. I started 2021 with a bit of a drip. Moisture oozing, I tell you, for a damp spot in my ceiling, right in the middle of my bake-off. I called a plumber, very nice man, and he arrived with a hammer. "What are you going to do with that?" I said. "I'm going to find your hole," he said. "How?" I said. He said, "I'm going to make a hole." And I said, "That's great, you know exactly where your hole is, but then we'll have two holes, and I still won't know where my hole is." He thought about it. Then he gave my ceiling a bloody good whack, and the next thing I know he's poking about in my rafters and being less than complimentary. "It's very dusty up here," he says. "Yes," I said, "I've not had anyone taking a close look at my rafters since before I transitioned, like they're all seized up and covered in cobwebs." At which point he gave me a sort of long, hard stare and went, "So, is this a lengthy and over-elaborated metaphor for the sex life of a trans woman, or just your way of saying you don't dust often?" Honestly, I didn't know where to look, so I just left him to it, banging away in the kitchen. And that's not a metaphor, that's just my smut sense working on overdrive. Anyway, long story short, after making several holes and a lot of new dust, he declared the problem was under my bath, not in the floorboards at all. Good news, he could repair the bath pipe for 80 quid. Bad news, he had done so much damage, I'd be spending £1,000 getting my ceiling fixed. And I'm like, gee, thanks. And he's just, "It's a pleasure." Oh, he does enjoy banging things, does my plumber. And I'm not going to tell you now about the sharks that came round to fix the ceiling. That's a tale for another day. All I will say is they took all of the money and did most of the job. This, though, is about the unexpected twists and turns that come with new beginnings. Because, of course, now I have a hole in my ceiling, and in it I find half a shoe, a rag, a newspaper from 1975, which is the last time we had a referendum on Europe, and 2 porn mags. The first was of such lewd and disgusting nature, I read it twice to check, the second time taking notes, but it went straight in the bin. The second was of more historical interest, a very issue of Penthouse magazine from 1979, in which rock journalist and future Mrs. Bob Geldof displayed her wares to the world. Not just her rafters, I can tell you, there was a good deal of underpinning as well. Though she was not yet famous, this made something of a stir at the time, as Paula was daughter to television bishop and all-round straight icon Jess Yates. Ah, I thought, I wonder what this would fetch on eBay. I was disappointed to discover that a used Penthouse of this vintage was worth around a tenner, and I fear this copy was very much used. Some previous owner appears to have spilt their cocoa all over pages 88 through 92. Whatever, it was very sticky. I wore gloves. But fascinating stuff. You could tell it was the 70s by the hair. Not just up top, where women feathered and fluffed and flicked like there was no tomorrow, but downstairs too, like so many women sporting the full metrosexual beard over their legs. I half expected to find some had sideburns running down their inner thigh and joining together round the back. But then, those were the days before plucking, when the only Brazilian most people had heard of was Pelé, and a landing strip was a place where dashing airline pilots touched down, which is pretty much the same today. It did make me wonder who walls up porn magazines like, had they gone too far? "You bad porn magazine, you are banished to live beneath my floorboards for the rest of your natural life." Was it some teenager desperately seeking hiding place as his mum came thundering up the stairs? Or some bored worker sticking 2 fingers up to the future, a sort of unofficial time capsule? Take that, future world. Yes, we had boobs and bush in 1979. Make something of it. I'll never know. It's a curiosity that may one day wash up on the Discovery Channel, alongside Tutankhamun's tomb, ley lines, and UFOs. Did aliens bury porn in the walls of my house? Is the Bermuda Triangle just another double entendre waiting to be discovered? Vote now. The moral of this story: when you begin afresh, you never know what you might find. When a man comes calling with a hammer, let him in. But before you let him anywhere near your rafters, take a good look under your bath first. And a happy new year to all of you.